Hi everybody, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts and an Answer Questions episode, so let's actually get right to it. Only one question today, so but what can you do? Alright, this is from John from South Stowe City, Nebraska. He says here, the evidence that based the idea of Mapusaurus being a pack hunter struck me odd. The highlighted bones on Planet Dinosaur look as though they might have belonged to just one specimen. How did this spark the pack hunting idea? Well, well, John, I would actually, because since I watched another documentary about this, the Horizon version of basically of finding Argentinosaurus and Giganotosaurus, and it was just basically called Extreme Dinosaurs, and you see, it was just basically trying to suggest basically the new dinosaurs that were actually found in South America. But then they went on to actually say how could a carnivorous dinosaur, the Giganotosaurus, could actually take down an Argentinosaurus, and so basically that actually sparked basically it was Phil Currie that actually started the idea of basically a pack hunting theory for large carnivorous dinosaurs. But since he actually had the Albertosaurus bone bed, which he rediscovered, because it's Barnum Brown actually discovered that site, the Dry Island bone bed, which is basically where he found 12 to 13 specimens of Albertosaurus in one layer. And then when they actually speculated, but when scientists caught on about this discovery, they just kind of jumped the pool about like saying, wait a minute, this is not even possible. How does this even happen? And so they actually thought like, oh, it might have been a flood. It might have been a flood. And then, but Phil Currie realized that these dinosaurs only made like about 5% of the population of basically the ecosystem of dinosaurs. And so how can you actually have like a bunch of animals that are probably related or not be swept into one area? And that doesn't make any sense, so he disclosed that idea. And then they thought like, well, maybe it was a predator trap, but like say like the La Brea tar pits, that's a predator trap, or otherwise like the Cleveland Lloyd Quarry, which is a predator trap where you find multiple Allosaurus specimens along with numerous herbivorous dinosaur bones right along that layer. But Phil Currie discovered that there are no herbivorous dinosaurs that are actually found in that layer in the Dry Island bone bed. So how can that be? So Phil Currie says that these animals died together and lived together right here. And then but then scientists kind of thought like probably this is just a fluke. I mean, there's probably no other way that there could be another bone bed like this, you know. So Phil Currie actually got a call from Rodolfo Coria from Argentina, and basically thought like this, basically saying, hey, why don't you come on down and actually help us dig up these specimens the specimen that we actually found. And so what happened is that they went down there and they actually were digging up that layer where they found the Mapusaurus specimens. And so what they actually saw was that when they opened the matrix, they actually saw that there are like multiple bones, but with different sizes. And I mean, I can get what you're saying is that in Planet Dinosaur that all the bones of the Mapusaurus specimen might have been just one specimen. You know, I can get that. I can understand that. You know, but I can understand your question. Like, how could it be? How did it actually spark the pack hunting theory with Mapusaurus and all like the Tyrannosaurs and probably Allosaurus and Giganotosaurus? But we still haven't found multiple specimens of Giganotosaurus yet. So, but even though it's still out there, could still be out there. But I would actually say that that the Mapusaurus pack hunting idea is still the jury's still out there for basically whether or not this was actually one specimen. But even though in this Extreme Dinosaurs special, it actually said that these bones in this matrix were different sizes, but also different ages. But I'm kind of thinking, did they even actually make cross sections of the bones to look at the rings in the bone, like tree rings? And I would actually say that they probably didn't do the research properly in that part. So I would probably actually say that the jury's still out on whether or not there's multiple ages there. So I would actually say that if they find any juvenile specimens, I would actually say that yes, these animals were living together. So I would actually probably still question that site, and also question that that idea of basically these were pack hunting animals. But even though Phil Curry actually still believes that this was actually a family group, but even though if it was turned down, then basically he actually has evidence of the Spletosaurus quarry in Montana, or the Sioux quarry in South Dakota, where they find 4 Tyrannosaurus Rex specimens, including Sioux. And also you have Dinosaur National Monument, and also the Cleveland Quarry for multiple Allosaurus specimens. He has the Tarbosaurus located site in China or Mongolia, and I mean that's always up in the air. But even though it's still a highly controversial theory on pack hunting for dinosaurs, there's still paleontologists that still don't believe it. They still think that probably some of them still believe that most carnivorous dinosaurs are actually solo hunters, lone hunters. But majority of the time, but basically in the animal kingdom, most predators are actually solo hunters at first. But then if they become pack hunting animals, that's because they have the brain power to actually to be able to do this. Because that's why most male lions have to hunt on their own before they actually have to find a pack of females that they could actually use to actually take down prey that is actually bigger than them, that is a little bit bigger, or otherwise sick or young. That's basically how it goes. I mean, that's the same thing with hyenas, but even though they have to learn how to catch food for themselves as well. Because that's being part of a carnivorous animal. You have to learn how to actually hunt on your own before you actually know if you're actually ready to actually need help. And that's pretty much what's going on here. But even though some of these carnivorous dinosaurs like Tyrannosaurus Rex, Albertosaurus, and Allosaurus, they probably would have had the brain power to actually been able to cooperate with each other in order to take down larger prey. But even though it wouldn't have been strategical though for how to capture the prey, it would actually been more like they just spread out and basically like the young ones chase the prey towards the adults, and then basically the adults get the meat first, then the young ones actually go in. That's pretty much actually I think how it went. And also I would actually say that probably the pack hunting theory is still up in the air, but even though I still like the idea, of the pack hunting theory, but the Mapusaurus site, I would question it a lot more, whether or not these are actually the same bones from one specimen. Because if they're different sizes, then I'm kind of thinking like, what different sizes? Are you talking about like different sizes in terms of the ribs, the vertebrae, all that kind of stuff, because I would like to know about that. Are there really juvenile specimens? Because that's what I like to know. Are there really juvenile specimens of Mapusaurus? That's my question. Are there really juvenile specimens? And that's really what I want to know. So if I can find the article about the Mapusaurus location, about the Mapusaurus site and the matrix and all that kind of stuff on all the specimens, I would actually look that up and actually try to find out of whether or not there were juvenile specimens, because that's what I like to see. If the bones were not fused, then I would actually say there are juveniles. But if they are fused, then I would say these are adults, and there's no way that you can actually say that that different adults would actually be cooperating with each other, because I don't see that. I really don't see that. Different kinds of adults from different areas would actually come together and actually take down prey that is larger than themselves, or have defenses that they can't actually do it alone. You know, I mean, what can you do? I mean, how do you actually behave with a different kind of different dinosaur of your own species? You know, because that's what I like to know. I would like to know a lot about that. You know, how can you actually do that? You know, but I mean, because you know, I would actually say that. But even I'll close this out by basically I would still say the Mapusaurus site is still in question. I would actually question that a little bit more. I do agree with you. I don't really see that much evidence to support the pack hunting theory from Mapusaurus just yet. But even though if there are juvenile specimens, I would actually probably go with okay, maybe this site was actually showing that they probably did live together and died together. But did they really hunt together? That's a question. That's always a question. Alright, that's it for now, and so next week will actually be a special episode, so make sure to I'll post a link on a list of dinosaurs that you can actually choose, and they're all alphabetically ordered, so choose a dinosaur or two that you want me to talk about. I've done 2 dinosaurs before, and I've done 2 prehistoric animals before, because I've done a dinosaur and a mammal at the same time, so I have no problem doing prehistoric mammals. We'll do sea monsters of the prehistoric past, you know, basically marine reptiles to sharks. That's my kind of animals in terms of sea monsters. And also you can still send me questions for any answering questions episode by emailing me at dinocris71@gmail.com, or other ways you can go. Otherwise, you go on the Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you can actually post any question in the comment section on any Facebook post. So make sure to keep your questions short and to the point, and also make sure to leave your first name and where you're from in terms of an email. That way, I can actually know where you're from, and that way I can know where you came from and where you come from. And also, you can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter name at CSGRALL. So it's CSGRAL. That's basically it. And also take care of the people around you. And for you younger people out there, make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. Those are the best motivators you can have for a good education. It's very important to have a good education, because with a good education, you get a good job in the future. Alright, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys next week.